lifelong best friends. Take turns picking topics, then they see where it ends. So wild, it's weird, and sometimes specific. Whatever it is, you know it will be terrific. It's hyperfixation time.
Hi everyone, welcome back to Hyperfixation Time. I'm Erin.
And I'm Danny.
And it's Danny's week this time. We're going to learn about something that she's been spiraling over, wanted to learn more about, and I don't know what it is. So why don't we jump into it?
We shall.
Our micro fixations, I guess, first. But
well, actually, I have to tell you something really funny. So you'll never believe what happened last night.
What happened?
The squirrel saga continues.
No way. Another one? Well, I guess you can't know for
I
sure.
don't know if it's the same one or a different one, but Dwight literally woke me up. I was asleep and it scared the crap out of me. And Dwight just tells me this whole story about how he got a squirrel out of the apartment, and it sounded like quite the tale. Basically, this time he was chasing it around and it was getting all over the place, and then he eventually got it like out the balcony door.
You didn't wake up from this at all?
No, I didn't wake up from this at all. And the funny thing is, when I did wake up this morning, because he like woke me up in the middle of me sleeping to tell me about this, I like feel like I dreamed it. You know what I mean? Like,
you're like, did that happen?
I was like, oh wait, so there was a squirrel in here again last night. So
dang, so he got it out at least, but oh my gosh, that's funny.
Yeah, I am definitely nervous to go in our little laundry room now. I'm like,
I was gonna say some things maybe the complex has to look into, like with the
I think so, yeah.
I don't know. Who knows? Oh my gosh, another squirrel. And it's just gonna get even colder these next few days too, so hopefully not all of a sudden you get like a whole family.
Oh my gosh, it's crazy.
Because I said that, it's not gonna happen, so
thanks, I appreciate that. Yeah, do you have any like microfixations though, or anything you wanted to talk about?
Microfixation wise, I would say is the documentary Come See Me in the Good Light.
Okay.
Have you heard of that?
Mm-mm.
I really like the comedian Tig Notaro, and also I love Abby Wambach and Glennon Doyle, and I've read some of those books that Glennon has come out with and really, really relate and listen to their podcast. Those are people that are friends, and a few years ago they had recommended this poet that I just heard like a little bit about, but for some reason just decided to jump in and get this poet's. I think they had just come out with like a book or something, so I got the book, really connected with the words, and then a few years later, or maybe it was shortly after that, I can't even remember timeline wise, but they were diagnosed. Their name is Andrea Gibson, I should say that too. They were diagnosed with, I think it was some kind of cancer, and I'm like trying to think, is it uterine? Can you get uterine cancer?
I think so, but can't you get ovarian too? I don't know. Yeah,
it was one of those, ovarian cancer or uterine cancer, and kind of started following their journey. They were married, and they have a wife who's also a writer and whatnot. Anyway, they made this documentary of Andrea Gibson and their wife, Megan, like the few months before they had passed away.
Gotcha.
But anyway, it's a really interesting documentary on Apple TV that kind of puts into perspective, like death stuff. And I know that that's hard to hear. It was very like, I don't know, it just hits the heart.
Yeah, totally. I think, I don't know, our culture shies away from talking about death a lot of time.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, is that kind of what you mean? Like it just kind of openly talked about death in a way?
Yeah, I mean, like it was the journey that, they went through as a couple and all of it. And then it was like to the point of, nothing was going to happen or change. So it was like a matter of time. And how do you deal with that as a partner? How do you deal with that as the person who went through it? So long-winded, but it was very, very interesting to watch, and made me emotional, but very,
I bet.
So
also, I didn't realize that you like poetry.
Well, that was the first poetry book that I've ever
Okay.
bought or anything like
Yeah.
that. Just based on what I had heard on a podcast. Oh, they were like a month away from their 50th birthday, so they were 49. Okay.
Gotcha.
Anyway, highly recommend Apple TV. Tig Notaro and her wife produced it, and it's like up for some awards and stuff. But come see me in the good light. I think it's an important message overall.
Yeah. For mine, do you want like I'm going to let you choose because you've done that to me before.
Yeah.
So, do you want another book? Do you want a game? Or do you want like a food type thing?
Let's do food.
Okay. So it's not really food, it's a drink, but basically I've been hyperfixated on having a afternoon coffee. Which I don't know if that's good for me, probably not, but it's been great.
What time? Like is
like 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, because it's just like at that point of the day I'm dragging along, and I feel like I start my morning after my cup of coffee and I'm like ready to go, ready to get a bunch of shit done. Yeah. And then I get a lot done, but then I get to a certain point. Yeah. And you're just like, ugh. And so coffee again, then I'm like, okay, let's round 2. Let's go again.
Have you, has it kept you up?
Not really.
Okay. Because remember we had talked about how like that one time I had the energy drink too late and I was up for a while.
I don't want to have it, past 4 o'clock or so.
Okay. Yeah. Because I think at the time you said like you don't past noon or something like that.
Oh,
right?
I thought I said later.
Maybe it was later.
But yeah,
Either way,
I still am conscious of it. Like I'm not going to have a cup of coffee like right now. It's 8:30 p.m. or like, yeah.
Exactly. Okay. But it helps. So, It helps kind of get a little more energy for the rest of the day.
And I've been enjoying like the ritual of it again.
There you go. Yeah, exactly.
So, well, I'm ready for my main topic if you are.
I'm ready.
Do you remember my clue that I gave?
Something music related, right?
Yeah. Any guesses?
No.
Well, my shirt is a hint.
If
you can see.
The Maybe Man Tour. Oh wait, who are they?
This is my favorite band.
Which is?
And it's AJR. So, this is definitely like I feel like a self-indulgent episode because like it's just something like a band that I love and I'm just going to talk about them,
Yeah.
But
I love it.
Yeah. And so how much are you familiar with them? Like I know we've talked about them a little bit before, but.
Yeah. Because it's like what? Adam, Jack, and Ryan or something like that.
Yes, it is.
Right?
Exactly.
And they're brothers?
And they're brothers. Yep.
Okay. I'm trying to think of what
songs you know.
Yeah. What songs would I know?
So their like most famous songs are Weak, Bang, Burn the House Down, and World's Smallest Violin. Those are like their absolutely most favorite songs.
Okay.
But I'm weak, and what's wrong with that? That song. Okay. We gonna burn the whole house down. Way up we go. I didn't know I was gonna be singing today, but they're very like those are definitely their most popular songs. If you looked them up, you would probably be like, oh yeah, I know this song. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and one of those. Yeah.
It is kind of one of those bands that I don't know. They just are that way for a lot of people. Like people either are a die-hard fan.
Yeah.
They absolutely hate them. Or they're kind of like, who are you talking about?
Yeah.
Even though they have such like a big following. So it's kind of interesting that way. So
I don't know much about them. So
my goal here today is just to like inform you about them. And hopefully like by the end of it, you'll be like, oh, you know what? I think I should go check out more of their songs. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, sorry, it's kind of niche. Well, it's not niche, but it's just like, it's specific. And I hope that people that are listening listen, even if they don't know much about the band or, you know what I mean?
Right. No, I think that it's a good idea to have like that, like, I don't want to say narrowed down, but I guess a little bit more focus on like specifics of a topic. So that's a good idea.
Okay. Well, let's get into it then. So like you already said, it's Adam, Jack, and Ryan. They are brothers. Their last name is Met. And Adam does the vocals, they all do vocals, but Adam does vocals and like bass guitar. That's usually where you'll see him, is like playing the bass.
Yeah.
Jack, he's the lead vocalist. I feel like the person that you're kind of thinking of if you're thinking of just one band member. He also plays guitar, the ukulele. They all play quite a few instruments, but
Okay.
those are like their main things, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then Ryan also does vocals. He's often on the keyboard or ukulele as well.
Oh, fun.
Yeah. And they also have like a bunch of different like members that tour with them that play like different instruments. The only one that I just wanted to give a shout out about was Arnetta Johnson. She plays the trumpet, and I feel like she's just featured in like a lot of their songs. They have a lot of trumpet sounds in their songs, and yeah.
Girl power.
Yeah, girl power. They have kind of this like iconic look, you know, where all three of them are on the stage, Adam on the left, Jack in the middle, and Ryan to the right. So it's kind of like opposite of how you like read their names, because they're technically RJA on stage.
I see. Yep. Okay. Yep.
Yeah. And then Adam always wears this hat no matter what the weather is. He wears it in like every single music video. He wears it on stage.
Okay. Yeah, it's like a winter hat, it looks like, or something.
Yeah. It would be pretty warm on like a hot day. I imagine it gets pretty sweaty under there.
His ears aren't covered in some of these, though.
Yeah, he kind of like pushes it up, I feel. Yeah. But the type of hat that he's wearing, it's called either like a trapper hat or a bomber hat. So it's got like those flaps that go over the ears, and it's kind of like fur lined.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's what I'm seeing. Yep. Okay. So that's like his thing. Every time you see him, it's that. I didn't. Okay. Yeah.
Yep. And he has said that he has like 4 main hats that he has in rotation for himself, but they have like over 100 of them with them at all times, because they tend to like throw them out to fans, and they have like contests on stage a lot, and so then they'll like give the hat to whoever was doing the contest type of thing.
Yeah. So it's pretty well known in the fandom.
Yeah.
I mean, if that's all you ever see him wearing, it makes sense. But yeah, they have.
Yeah, people want these hats.
I have one here that he doesn't have it on.
Oh. I feel like at some point you would be like, let me see if I can phase this out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I'm sick of wearing this hat.
He's like, this is my thing, I guess.
Yep. And so they have like a pretty unique sound, and they've often been like criticized for like actually sounding too different from song to song, and also for like being too theatrical.
So kind of like to our point of last week, or well, not last week, but whatever, the punk one. It's hard to put bands, and I don't think that we should put them in like one
in a label. Yeah,
bucket.
Totally.
Yeah, they can switch it up from song to song, album to album. So this is like the same album, multiple songs are just different styles completely.
Yeah, and they like basically take influence from a lot of different places, and like even to the point where like record labels will like ask them to be more cohesive, and they have to push against that because they like the fact that all their songs are different. They like having multiple influences. They're very interested in a lot of different genres and just like want to try new things. And like their fan base, including myself, really likes that about them. Like, and there's so many artists out there that it's like every song of theirs just sounds kind of the same. And I'm just like, yeah, I like, these couple songs, but I'm not really into like their whole album because all the songs just sound the same and I'm bored. Like I need new things to listen to.
Yeah, I'm like trying to think of if there's any bands that I listen to that are like that, where it's
just like very different.
Just very different song to song. Yeah. And there's obvious differences, but like to switch things up to be almost like a completely different genre or different like vibe. That's
and I feel like, all the songs are still like AJR vibe. They all still have these really unique songs. They're all mostly pretty fast, I would say, or like upbeat. But but I don't know. If you're being a music critic, maybe they just think they're too different. And I also just like this fact that they're very passionate about wanting to be different, because like they don't want to be stuck in a box, you know? And I relate to that like even with photography, because a lot of people will say like you need to niche down. So like in the photography space, it's like you should only do newborns, or you should only do seniors, you should only do weddings, and like really present that to people. But I enjoy doing all of them. So it's like, I don't know, if that's what I enjoy doing, like why force
Yeah.
me to stop? You know what I mean?
Totally. Yeah. If that's the part of it that I mean, obviously, if you were somebody that was like, "Oh my gosh, I just love doing weddings," then you'd be like,
Mm-hmm.
"Okay, sure, maybe I'll
Right.
I'll pare down." But you're somebody that likes it all, and that's honestly a more versatile photographer to know
Yeah.
about. So I like it. It
And
totally
I
makes sense.
and I feel like we're also doing that with our podcast, because it, like we've said, it's
Yeah.
like, you know, we're not just talking about the same thing week to week. We like to change it up, and trying to make us, you know, stick to a certain lane just doesn't feel genuine to us.
Right. Yes, agreed.
And they're kind of like self-proclaimed nerds and like theater kids. I don't know. I just think like they're just fun guys that are passionate about what they do, and just kind of like have a fun fan base that just like understands them, you know? They write and produce all their songs. They did eventually end up hiring somebody else to like do the final mix to their albums, except for The Click. That's one of the albums that they mixed themselves. And they have a ton of different inspirations. Like I said, song to song can be really different, album to album can be really different. But like some of the artists that I've seen them like mention as inspirations are Beach Boys, Fun, 21 Pilots, Kanye West, and Kendrick Lamar. They're also heavily influenced by Broadway music and also like old Western movies.
Wow, yeah, that's a lot of variety, I guess.
Yeah,
A
totally.
lot of differences. So that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. And my personal love for them came about in about like 2019, 2020. And I'll kind of get into like their discography and point that out. But my son grew up really like listening to them, and that was like this first artist that he really knew of and became like his favorite, and so it just kind of became a family favorite as well.
Yeah.
Where it's just like we're always listening to AJR, and like I have tons of videos of him like dancing to AJR music videos when he was a little baby toddler. And like I just remember like driving in the car, and like Way Less Sad came on, and turning around and he's just kicking his legs and dancing and happy, you know, like
Oh,
before
that's
he
so
could even
cute.
really talk.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's definitely like a sentimental band for me that I'll always
Yeah.
remember.
Yeah, you're connected to them. Yeah, for
Mhm.
sure.
So, okay, quick history of the band. So basically in 2005, they were like street performing in the New York City like streets and parks.
Okay. Yeah.
So that's where they lived. Their dad was a very big influence on them, and there was actually this New York Times article that was written shortly after 9/11 that was like talking about people that had like a fear of moving to the city after that.
Yeah.
But their parents moved them from Queens like to the city in Manhattan,
Okay. Yeah.
just to pursue their dream of like being musicians.
Really?
And
Okay.
so, yeah, it was just funny. There was this little article that came out about them, you know, years before they ever were anything.
Right. Yeah. And like that led to the move, and I'm sure
Yeah.
that is a big part
So
of their
basically,
history.
yeah, their parents were like huge supporters of them, huge influence on them for being where they are today. They originally were posting like covers of different songs on YouTube. One of their covers of Ho Hey by the Lumineers actually inspired the singer Shawn Mendes.
Oh, okay. I
So,
remember that song.
mhm.
I'll have to look that up.
And then in 2012, Ian tweeted a link to like the video of one of their songs called I'm Ready. He tweeted it to about 80 different celebrities, and Sia saw it and told her manager about it. And then he contacted Steve Greenberg, who became AJR's manager and I believe is still their manager to this day. He was Steve Greenberg was a former president of Columbia Records and CEO and founder of S-Curve Records. He is responsible for a lot of famous songs such as Bop, Who Let the Dogs Out, and Stacy's Mom.
Wow, those are big ones.
Yeah. So like basically he has this great ear for like hits and like what's going to be a hit, and like
Yeah.
he likes different unique sounds. So pretty good
Okay.
fit, I would say, for AJR.
Yeah, it sounds like a good match.
That song I'm Ready is like funny cuz who do you know that says I'm ready?
SpongeBob.
Yes. So it's sampling SpongeBob being like I'm ready
Oh,
over.
is it really?
Yeah.
Okay. That's fun.
Yeah. And that song was featured on their debut album, Living Room, that came out in 2015. It was eventually certified platinum in the US.
Solid.
They also came out with their second and third EPs during this time and just kind of started gaining their commercial success and like buzz in the media. They came out with What Everyone's Thinking EP in 2016. This is where the song Weak came from, and Weak became a Hot 100 single. It charted top 30 in over 25 countries worldwide and has over 250 million streams on Spotify.
Damn. All right.
Mm-hmm. All 5 tracks from this EP were included in their second studio album, The Click, in 2017. And they also went on the Click tour. I think that was like their first big tour
Like
at this
okay.
time. Yeah.
Yeah.
The album amassed over 2 billion streams on Spotify, and the tour sold over 100,000 tickets.
Nice.
Other songs from this era are like Sober Up and Burn the House Down, which also charted. And then there's another song from this album called The Good Part.
Mm.
And that one actually, so it was the second track on the Click, but it got a big resurgence in 2021 for being a TikTok trend.
I was okay. Yep. I know we've talked
or a
about
viral
that
TikTok
before.
sound.
Yeah.
Did we?
Like,
oh, okay.
well, just like in terms
In
of
person.
things can just, you never know sometimes, and then
Oh,
they can be
yeah.
big on TikTok, but that's what does a lot of successful things. Okay.
So
Nice.
like if you still are listening and you don't know what we're talking about, like it's the sound where they're like, can we skip to the good part?
Oh.
That's AJR.
Okay. I feel like I remember that. All right.
Yeah, see?
Nice.
Like I said, you just go, oh yeah, I know that song.
Yeah, that one.
I know what you mean. Okay. In 2019, they came out with their third album, Neo Theater. They performed 100 Bad Days on Jimmy Kimmel Live. That was one of the songs from this time period. Some of my favorites from that album are Birthday Party and Dear Winter. And the album went to number 8 on the US Billboard 200 and number 1 on Billboard's top rock albums. Again, showing like, I don't know, their genres hard to define.
Right.
They sold out a show at Red Rocks Amphitheater in October of 2019, and I have so much regrets for not going to that. Like, I should have been there. I lived in Denver at that time. I should have been. I don't know. I might have. I don't remember specifically. Okay. We were pretty bad. Like, I don't know. I haven't been to that many concerts.
Yeah.
Have you?
I feel like a decent amount, but yeah, only the bands that are, musicians that I really, really love. Unless their tickets are $2,000 a ticket, like Taylor Swift's, and then I'm like, I'm not going. I can't go. But yeah, I feel like a decent amount. But I've never been to Red Rocks, and that's been on my list. Like, I really wish. Did you ever see anybody there?
Yeah, we saw the Gorillas there, and it was a really good time. But yeah, I regret not going there more. Yeah. It's a beautiful venue, and it was really cool. All right, so their next album was called OK Orchestra. Before the album came out, the song Bang came out, and that was their lead single for the album. That came out on February 12th, 2020. That song charted in the Billboard Hot 100 at number 8. I feel like Bang is the song, like whenever I'm talking about AJR to people, that's the song that people are like, oh yeah, I like that Bang song.
Okay.
I have to like...
I know, I'm like...
think of how that one goes, because that one's actually not my favorite, but I do like it. But I get up, I get down, and I'm jumping around or something.
Bang, 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 right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought that was 21 Pilots this whole time. I never
that's
actually
fair.
looked
And see,
it up.
that was one of their influences, 21 Pilots.
Yeah,
and
like,
it's funny.
I never looked into it.
Yeah, like that's what happens to them all the time. Like the people will be like, "Oh, I thought that song was by this artist or something." You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. That's funny.
Or like people don't realize like all these songs were by the same person, you know?
Right. Yeah. And like I just never looked into it too. It's like, oh,
Mhm.
I just that's got to be 21 Pilots, whatever. You know, and I love 21 Pilots, but I
Yeah.
just mean like I didn't question it. That's funny. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Oh, so during this time, they also performed their song Bummerland at the virtual concert We the People for the Joe Biden inauguration. Album. Okay, other songs from this album include Ordinary-ish People, Way Less Sad, and 3 O'Clock Things. Those are all some of my favorites again. 3 O'Clock Things has a pretty funny video, and I don't think you would think it's funny unless you're like a fan of AJR, because
Yeah.
basically what happens is their lighting designer, Ezra Donnellan, parodies as Jack for the video.
Okay.
And so
Yeah.
it's like kind of funny because you're like, oh, I'm watching an AJR video, but then you're like, wait, that's not even Jack, but he's like wearing the hat and like the other brothers are in it and
Yeah.
he's doing all the Jack things and he's like basically impersonating him and he does such a good job doing like parodies of their own earlier videos.
Really? Okay.
And so it's just like funny because you're like, wait, what's going on? And then you find out it's their lighting designer and it's just like,
it's
I don't
a
know, it's
little
just silly.
uncanny, or is
It's
that
just
the right
like
word? Where it's
playful
just
and
like
silly. I don't know.
yeah, but like it's also like it looks close enough to the real thing, but it's not,
Yeah.
and that's kind of the
Yeah.
point, I guess. I don't know. Is that
Yeah,
uncanny, like the
if-
uncanny valley or something like that?
Yeah, it was definitely like right around this time again that like I started really like joining the fandom, and so like
Yeah.
I do remember watching that video, and I was like, "Wait, what's going on here?
Wait
like
a
that's
second.
that's not Jack. Who is that?" And then like
Okay,
looking into it,
How does Way Less Sad go?
or I'll be way less sad. Da-da, da-da-da-da. I've listened to so much AJR today,
Yeah.
and now it's like all belting together in my head.
No, it's
But
okay.
it was
Okay.
way less sad.
I feel like that one I recognize for some
Okay.
reason.
That's another big one. Like I
Is
think
it?
I remember hearing it on the radio before, or like
Okay.
sometimes like if I'm shopping or something, I've heard it.
Maybe. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
Mhm. Okay. And then the next album is The Maybe Man. They had a bunch of singles come out beforehand, like I Won't, The DJ is Crying for Help, and The Dumb Song. They also released a song called God is Really Real. And it's basically, some of them are religious, some of them aren't, just in case you're curious about that title. But
Yeah.
the lyrics have to do with their dad who became terminally ill with cancer.
Mhm.
And they released the lyric video of the song and then later that day announced their father's passing.
Hmm.
And so a lot of this album is like, I would say a lot more emotional than some of their previous albums, heavily inspired by their dad. And this was just like, they're pretty out and open about how hard his passing has been for them.
Sure. Yeah.
Like I mentioned earlier, like he literally moved them into
Yeah.
the city to support them. So like he was just like such a big support system for them, and to like lose him was just really hard. He was their biggest fan and also their biggest critic,
Mhm.
but like in a good way, they've said, where
Yeah.
like, you know, he helped them kind of see like what they could improve on, or like just
Mhm.
give honest feedback on stuff.
Yeah. It's so important to have somebody like that.
And Ryan even said that after like their dad listened to, I forget which album, but he basically was like, you know, a lot of these songs aren't really like your best work, or like I feel like you could do better than
Mhm.
you know what's here. Ryan got inspired and basically wrote World's Smallest Violin, and that
Okay.
ended up being like one of their biggest songs
Oh,
for
okay.
them. So
I
yeah,
like that they use what they're going through in life as the maybe like foundation of these albums or something. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I think that's way more humanizing, almost. You know, you might
Mhm.
be going through heartbreak one time, so that's the album. Then you're in love the next time, so that's that album. And I think that happens, but I feel like not enough. And like
Yeah.
being able to switch it up that much, I think too. Why not go with what you're going through?
And you're
I like it.
totally right to like pick that up. That's something that they absolutely do, is like trying to make their lyrics just very vulnerable, like real, like what they're
Yeah.
going through, and trying to make it because they want their fans to have something that they can like relate to as well. So yeah, and I'll actually talk about that a little bit more as well. So The Maybe Man, the album was released on November 10th, 2023. And I just remember, like, by this point, you know, I was their fan, and I was
Mhm.
like, oh, yes, like a new album is coming out. And
Yeah.
I'm so excited. And I just remember I was able to that day, like, go for a walk outside. And I just listened to the whole album while I was walking outside. And it was like a really nice day out, even though it was November. And it was just like such a happy experience, you know? And
Yeah.
I remember loving every single song on that album and just being like, oh my gosh, like, how do they keep releasing songs that I love, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Because you don't know sometimes when these albums come out. You're like, I like
Yeah.
this band a lot, but I just hope that the album is something I enjoy. So that's a big, yeah, that's
Mhm.
like straight euphoria of just weather's nice, you're out for a walk,
Mhm.
and then the album ends up being great and you can listen to it all the way through. And yeah,
Mhm.
I love that.
And then after this album came out, they announced their first arena tour. So the Maybe Man tour beginning in 2024. And that is the tour that I got to see and is what my shirt is from. But we saw them, me and Dwight saw them at Summerfest in Milwaukee on July 4th, 2024. It was a wonderful time. Best concert we ever went to. We talk about
Yeah.
it all the time and how we want to go again.
Was it in, wait, you said it arena. So like, was it in one of like the bigger
Yeah,
venues
it
or
was
was
at
it
it was some insurance or something like that.
American Family or something
American,
like
yeah,
that?
yeah, yeah. I think
Is
that
that
was
what it
it.
was? Okay. Yeah. So the bigger
Mm-hmm.
one, basically.
Mm-hmm. It was a good
Wow.
time.
I'm
We got
glad
pretty
you,
good seats, so it was wonderful.
I'm glad you got to see him. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm. And they do have like a documentary on their YouTube of the making of the Maybe Man tour. That's very interesting to watch. They also basically put up like all their concerts on there. So like if you want to watch them, you can, which their shows are just like they're just so good. So it's definitely like if you like even, you know, a couple of their songs, it's definitely like worth the watch, especially if you're just gonna put it on the background or something like that. But
Yeah.
they're real shows, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not just them like singing.
Is it like it's like a whole production, not just
Yeah.
them? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I mean, that makes sense if they're musical theater people as well, have that in the
Mm-hmm.
background of them. So they have to make sure it's yeah, engaging. Okay. I
Mm-hmm.
love that.
And then a surprise was that in 2025 they came out with a What No One's Thinking EP. So if we kind of call back, their first EP was called What Everyone's Thinking. So now they're What No One's Thinking. And it was just like a handful of songs. My favorite from it is called The Big Goodbye. And they have a good music video for it. But the opening line in that song is, I wrote a song about being weak. And it's just like, I don't know, it's just they're talking about like their history of like being artists. And I feel like this song, they're kind of talking about how, you know, they got all this success, but now like what are the other consequences of that? Like all these people around them, they're missing like all these big events. There's, you know, people that are just kind of getting more distant from them because of that. And
yeah,
just like the consequences of it that, you know, maybe they didn't see, but
yeah, that they are experiencing as well.
mm-hmm.
That's different from when they started. So, okay.
Yeah. And so kind of just going back to like what I was talking about with their performances, their concerts are always just like very theatrical, lots of stage effects. I wanted to talk about like a few more like fun things about them that they do with their band that I just think like makes them unique and like more personable and like makes me just like fall in love with them kind of. So they do post all these like how we made videos on YouTube, but it's also like a big section of their concerts that they do is like they will spend like 10 minutes explaining how they made one of their songs. And
that's cool.
Yeah, and the fun thing is like if you go to the show, you shouldn't look up any like spoilers before you go to their concert.
Okay.
Because then, yeah, you go to the show and you don't know which song they're going to do that to. And so then they're like slowly explaining the different sounds that they found and what they did. And then they finally put it all together. You get that like, oh, this is the song. And then they go into the performance of the song. And it's just like this moment of everyone being like, yeah, you know
It's
what I
like
mean?
the build up, the anticipation of it all. Yeah, that's fun. Oh, that's cool that they do that. Is it a different song each like concert?
Like each tour,
or each
yeah,
tour?
it's a different song. And so the band member Ryan usually does the explaining for this, and he'll basically explain the sounds that they find for inspiration, and then like how they mix those sounds. So like an example is for the song Way Less Sad. They did one of these, and they like I said, during the concert, it's like very theatrical. And so they like did a scene where like they're out to eat for lunch, and it like looked like kind of like a play setup of them like out to eat for lunch. They have like the background and everything.
Yeah.
And then like the waiter putting the plate down on the table, and then they're like, wait, do that again. And like the waiter puts the plate down on the table, and they record the sound of those plates clinking onto the table.
Okay.
And then they basically like mix that sound to like make it sound different, and it kind of sounds like a drum sound in their song. And then they, for the same song, Way Less Sad, they were talking about being at the library and how Jack was watching old home movies on his phone, and this was like really annoying Ryan. And he's like, would you put your phone down? And then Jack was just like, wait, say that again? And then basically the way that Ryan said, would you put your phone down? They sent that to their trumpet player, and she made like the trumpet sound to like match the cadence of him saying that.
Okay.
And then they put that in their song.
Yeah. So they just take like they've got an ear for that stuff, and then it could be just like your most random everyday thing, like the plates or the,
Yep.
I love that.
And then they even took all those home videos. So I said he was watching home videos. They like strung a bunch of them together. And like that basically, they strung a bunch of those sounds together, sped it up, and then that like kind of became the melody for Way Less Sad.
Really? They're very like, creative with this. I love it.
So I'll go through a couple quick ones. They used a crying baby sound from an upstairs neighbor for the song Weak. And they used like a knocking on the door for the song Bang. And then they got a fun cameo from a guy named Charlie Pellet. He says, "Here we go" in Bang. And he is also the same person that does the voice for the New York subway system to say, "Stand clear of the closing doors."
Really? Whoa. So they got him to do it. They just put a lot of thought into this stuff, I feel like.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And then the other like fun thing that they do on stage is they hold these contests. So like people will go to the concert holding up a sign to basically get their attention. And then they do pause at some point during the show to pull up some sort of audience member onto the stage and like do a contest with them. This could be anything really. But some examples are like a paper airplane throwing contest, push-ups, drawing contest.
Yeah.
When we went, a kid went up on stage and did a staring contest with Jack, and he won.
Nice.
And then these contestants are always given like a hat, like I mentioned earlier.
One of those hats. Yep, exactly. So it's like well known that if you have a creative enough sign, or just something that they notice more.
I don't know how they necessarily like
choose,
pin it out, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
that's fun.
And then they also, for their VIP experience, they do dodgeball with fans. So like they play a game of dodgeball with them, and then they also have a master class with Ryan, and I think he probably does like more of that, how did we make the song, you know what I mean, or just like answering questions as well.
Wow. They're just like doing exactly what they love, with no like, I'm not going to bend this way or that way. Like if I'm going to meet my fans, then we're going to play dodgeball because that's what I want to do.
Exactly.
I like it.
Okay, so then I wanted to get into like some of their lyrics a little bit, just like what they like to sing about. Like I mentioned before, they like to have songs that like people really relate to and like makes them feel seen. They often talk about mental health, politics, relationships, like dreams of the future, nostalgia, and even like getting as personal as some of like Ryan's sex issues that he's had. That was the topic of a song or two. Like one of the songs that I really related to was a song called Ordinary-ish People. And they basically are talking about like the idea of how you're such a different person, like two different people. Do you know what I mean? And so it's kind of like, this group of people thinks that I'm like a hippie, and this group of people thinks that I'm like just so straight-laced and like conservative or something, you know what I mean? And I just really enjoyed that concept, and it's just like relatable, like people have different ideas of you.
Yeah, for sure, because that's how it is. I feel like certain parts of you come out more depending on who you are. with sometimes.
And like you're kind of like contrasting to those different people in different ways.
Yep.
So yeah, it's just interesting. And then, so I mentioned before that song 3 o'clock things. That's one of my favorites. They're basically like rattling off random thoughts that you might have at 3 o'clock in the morning. And I really like this like stanza of their lyrics. It says, "Isn't this obvious? Am I insane? Let's blame our parents because they taught us their ways. Stay out of politics. Stay on the fence. Stay out of all of it to keep half your fans. Isn't this obvious? Am I insane? There might be two sides to everything that you say. It's all a bit cloudy, but there's one thing I know, that if you're fucking racist, then don't come to my show."
Fuck yeah.
So they are pretty like, I wouldn't say they're outspoken about politics, but it is obvious their political points and views.
And they are not afraid to make that known. Yeah. Good for them.
And then the one thing I really like about a lot of their songs is they're serious songs wrapped up in a silly package, I would say. So like they have a lot of songs from the perspective of something, and it's funny because it's like that's such a silly idea that you would make into a serious song.
Yeah.
So an example is called A Dog Song that was on their most recent EP. And that is like from the perspective of their dog. And it's like basically the dog watching their life. And like, yeah, it sounds silly, but it's actually pretty sad because it does talk about their dad disappearing and not being around anymore.
Yep. They like look at life in many different angles. And like think it through too. Okay.
Which is, you know, why I like them and relate to them because I'm like, I don't know. It's just, I like the new perspective. Another example is called Birthday Party. This is one of my favorite songs of theirs. This is the perspective of a newborn baby that was literally just born.
Okay.
And this baby is like very optimistic about life, but kind of making commentary like about life's terrible things. And so I'll give another example here with some lyrics to go. This hospital's got lots of crying kids. A minute ago, I did not exist. It's nice to finally meet my relatives. I bet I'll never outgrow all my friends. I bet I'll see a female president. Yeah, I can tell this life will be a cinch.
Okay. It's just an interesting perspective, yeah.
And then just to like further prove that they are very like, not only are they these musicians, but they care about the world. They're activists. $1 of every Maybe Man tour ticket went to Planet Reimagined, which is a nonprofit that was co-founded by Adam Met, so one of the band members. And basically, this nonprofit trains climate leaders of the future to fight climate crisis and deliver fair solutions for people and the planet.
Wow.
And I've noticed because AJR is currently, well, I think they're like finishing up another tour, but it's not like a album specific tour. It's kind of like a tour between albums type of thing.
Yeah, like a mix of all of them, maybe.
Yeah,
that
so
they
I
already
noticed
have come out with. Okay.
I noticed that Adam hasn't really like been with them, so it's pretty much just been Jack and Ryan in like a lot of the pictures. And the reason why is because Adam actually just came out with a book last year called Amplify. So it's called, the full title is Amplify: How to Use the Power of Connection to Engage, Take Action, and Build a Better World. So he was on a book tour for this book. And basically it's a book that's a blueprint for boosting your activism and building support for the causes you care about, featuring fan building tactics from the music industry and the voices of today's most passionate change makers. I have not read it, but I do, like after doing the research today, I want to. And this is like, I was putting all my notes together and I wanted to include this about Adam and his book and everything.
Yeah.
So I was like looking up some stuff about it. And let me tell you, I was flabbergasted when I found out that he was the guest on an Ologies episode.
No way! Was he really?
He was. And I was like, wow, I should not even be talking about this today because, wow, what a fan am I that I did not know that a member of AJR was on one of my favorite podcasts of all time. Like, what the hell? How did I not know this?
What was the topic?
Okay, so the topic was called Climate Fervorology. It came out on April 16th, 2025. And the Ologies description of the episode, it says, cleaner energy, reasoning with climate deniers, using fandom to pass policy, and not burning out. Adam Met of the colossal indie pop band AJR is also a career climate activist. an international human rights law PhD adjunct professor at Columbia University and the author of the upcoming book, Amplify. He joins to chat about breaking through the overwhelm of climate causes, what action actually matters, if petitions even work, what happens to our brains at a rock concert, how human rights and climate policy intersect, if you should drive a gas or an electric car, how to solve problems that are vexing you by not working on them, carbon footprint guilt, the similarities between writing an album and writing a book, and how to do something about climate change without bumming everyone out. It's possible.
It's a lot of things. Yeah.
I know, sorry, that was a big description, but I just thought that was so interesting. And I was like, oh, I'm falling in love with you guys even more.
Yep.
You know?
Did you go back and listen to the episode? Or are you going to?
I will. I literally, this was like the last thing I wrote down, like at 6:30 p.m. tonight. I was like, what? Yeah. That's crazy. Like wrote it down. But so yeah, I will probably listen to that tomorrow for sure. That was all I wanted to say about them. Thank you so much for listening to my TED Talk about AJR. They're just like the perfect band for me. They're the perfect mix of unique sounds, relatable lyrics. I can sing along with them. I can dance. All their songs are different, which keeps my mind happy. They talk about unique concepts, and they're also just like amazing people. So yeah, it's just right for me.
It's like a perfect puzzle piece. I love it. In your puzzle.
Did I convince you to go back and listen to a bunch of AJR?
Yes, you did.
That's great.
What's funny about this that I realized after I looked them up, when you had mentioned in the past that you love AJR, the whole time I was picturing the band Alt J. So different.
Oh,
for some reason, like I just didn't even think past it. But then when I looked at the picture, I'm like, oh no, that's not who I was thinking of.
That's really funny.
Yeah, but absolutely, I'll have to go listen to them for sure.
And the other like last thing I wanted to say is that we talked about, you know, a lot of music stuff in the pop punk episode, which is why I was like, I don't want to talk about like AJR the next time because that's like a lot of music right in a row. Yeah. But I do feel like my love for AJR was definitely influenced by some of those bands that we talked about in that episode. Like I mentioned Cute Is What We Aim For, Play Radio Play. I feel like those are totally predecessors to like AJR's type of sound as well. Yeah. I also was a huge fan of the band Fun. Yes. When they were super popular in like 2011, 2012, 2013.
Have you listened to Nate Ruess is in a new band?
No.
It's called The Format. So he's the lead singer.
I'll have to look that up.
The lead singer. So his voice, I just love his voice because it's so unique. And he's the lead singer of this band. So you can hear him again. I just listened to one of their new releases and it was really good. I really liked it.
Okay. Yeah, I'm definitely going to look that up.
But Fun was amazing. I wish that they were still producing music. But yeah.
So yeah, I think if we were doing this podcast in like 2013, I would have done an episode on Fun. Like I loved them.
For sure.
So yeah, that is AJR. Thank you for listening. I appreciate it. And I hope you all go check out some of their songs.
I love it.
And tell me which one of their songs is your favorite in the comments, or tell me if you totally thought one of their songs was by a different band. Tell me which band you thought it was by.
There's just like those musicians or bands that just they just feel like such a connected part of you, and I can see that that's you and AJR for sure. So fun to sort of look into those passions or those things that you feel very strongly about.
Yeah, I was given a platform to gush about something I love, so here we go.
Exactly. Yep. I love it. Well, that was a good episode. And I guess that's it for this week's rabbit hole. I do not have a clue because I don't know what I'm going to do yet for the next episode. I have to look into that again. But if you want to let us know your favorite AJR song, like Danny said, drop it in the comments or DM us or email us. We are on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcast, Amazon, everywhere you can find podcasts. TikTok. Did I already say that?
I think you said that, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
That's okay.
Just want to make sure that one.
Get us to 500.
Yes, get us to 500. Honestly, get us to 100.
We're past 100 on TikTok.
I was thinking not TikTok. Okay. I was thinking about like Spotify.
Just anywhere else?
Anywhere else. But until then, embrace the spiral, stay curious, and we will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
It's hyperfixation time.